Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me once again. So today I've got a really special guest. This guy is somebody who sincerely helped shape my real estate career in Oklahoma City. He is a good friend of mine and someone who has just started his very own real estate brokerage in Oklahoma City. This is going to be part of an interview series that I'm doing where I find different people throughout the metro who are in the real estate industry. And so I thought, what better person to launch this series than my good buddy Brett Creager of Copper Creek Realty. So if you have ever wondered what it is like owning your own real estate brokerage, or have ever thought what goes through the mind of somebody who would embark on such a endeavor, we've got the answers for you right now. And make sure to stick around till the end because Brett has some extra exclusive secret tips and tricks that he's gonna share with us. Maybe not, but maybe. I'm gonna start lobbing questions at Brett in a rapid fire succession and we'll see how well he answers them. So first and foremost, what motivated you to start your own real estate brokerage?
I didn't want to start a real estate brokerage. I had at a previous company had helped run a real estate company for many years. I knew what was involved in running a real estate company, and so I almost didn't want to embark in it again. Tried a couple different things, tried to figure out what my goals really were in this industry, and could I achieve those goals at another company that's not my own. And for a long time, I wasn't excited about my work. And the only way I can get kind of excited about it again is to take a ton of ownership. I look back at the part of my career when I had the most movement and success and trajectory, and I took a ton of ownership in what I was doing. And so I had to get back to a place where I felt that and had that. And so starting out the brokerage was the only way I could get that excitement, that want to get out of bed and go to work again, because I lost that. And it's exactly what's happened. I'm fired up about everything. I've been telling people it's like good stress, if there's such a thing.
Sure, right? Hell yeah.
When I was, at the old spot, it was stress because I was floating. I wasn't really moving in any direction. It was stressful. I didn't feel like I had control of what I was doing. Now I feel like, okay, it's stressful, but I have a direction and I'm moving. And so... And you have ownership, right?
Yeah. And this is something where this is yours, right? Mm-hmm. Like all the risk, all the reward is on your shoulders, which is huge, man. There's a lot of people that they get into real estate because they want to be self-employed or they want to be their own boss, but ultimately you're always playing for somebody. Mm-hmm. And even you, as an owner, you're playing for somebody which is your clients, but being able to control the P&L, right? To control all the marketing decisions, to just control the general direction of where this is going, that's huge, man. And that's really cool that you've had that kind of entrepreneurial hustle that you're crazy enough to go out and start doing it.
Crazy is
that you're the guy signing the checks, right? Yeah. So that's badass, man. Yeah. And suffice to say, Brett and I worked together for a number of years, and this guy has one of the best grinds from anybody I know. The guy is slick as snot, but ultra polished, and he can talk to everybody from your general for sale by owner to somebody who is building 50 units a month. So I feel personally extraordinarily grateful and lucky to have came up under the tutelage of Brett, as well as Charlie and a lot of the other people at the former brokerage. But I know that you're going to do great things, man, and I'm super stoked to still be in your orbits, so to speak.
I appreciate it.
So what do you think some of your unique selling points of Copper Creek are?
So before I answer that, let me kind of tell you kind of how I envision the industry and where it's going. And that's kind of how and why I set up our brokerage. So I think, I could be wrong, I think that the days of brokerages being able to charge 50%, 30%, even 20% commission to agents is slowly going away. A brokerage cannot provide the value that a few pieces of technology can provide. Zillow and Dotloop or whatever other kind of. Sure. So I think people can, I think mentors can, I think team leaders can, I think there's value people can provide, but a brokerage as a whole is very difficult to provide that. And so where I want to go is I am trying to create a low cost but high value brokerage where the brokerage really just kind of becomes a line item on the P&L of a real estate agent. You have to have a brokerage unless you go get your real estate license.
Sure.
Most people can run their own team and run their own small brokerage inside of a brokerage, but you have to have that level of brokerage. So Copper Creek is we're setting up to where it's almost like an a la carte brokerage. So if you just want to be here and just sell your own stuff, we're 100% commission. And then there are fees associated, just like if you were running your own brokerage, your own team. So we are a line item on the P&L of a top producing real estate agent or a real estate team. So if you want the additional stuff, you want the mentorship, you want the transaction coordinating, you want the CRMs, you want all those things that any of those expensive brokerages can provide you, we can provide you all of those things at the highest level, but you're gonna pay for them a la carte. I'm not gonna charge 50% to all my agents if they don't use any of the stuff that I'm providing, because then we're just buying time until they go somewhere else.
Or you're another one of several of the 500 brokerages that are already in town doing that same thing.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Very cool, man.
And so there's also, again, all the stuff that you get from any other brokerage is layered on top. You want the training, you want the mentor, you want the CRM, all the stuff that you have is going to be layered on top. It's just going to be a la carte. Use what you want, because what I found is most top producing agents have their own CRM they like. They kind of have their own coaching outside of their brokerage typically. They do a lot of their own stuff, so why am I charging extra for all these things when the agent's only going to use a fraction of them? So make it inexpensive across the board to do business for our agents, and then give them the tools they need in an a la carte basis.
And you hit on something interesting, because there are a number of different ways that real estate agents will go out and do their day-to-day, right? There's no one direct way. I know that there's 1,000 coaches that say this is how you time block your day and this is what you should do, but ultimately there are many different strategies that people employ, whether they're going after for sale by owners or doing open houses or really leaning into direct mail or SMS text. I mean, there's 1,000 things that somebody can do. And so that's cool that you don't just have this, here is our kind of box in which we will try to make you fit. You can just say, all right, if this is what you want, boom, you got it, right? And then you can go out and you can support them in any way that is necessary for your company. That's cool.
You mentioned in your introduction of me, which was very kind. In your introduction of me, you mentioned how I can talk to anyone, and I think I try to be a chameleon to where what I put out is kind of what you're giving me, if that makes sense. I think that allows me to communicate with people. Same thing with agents as they come in. It's not a one size fits all. Every agent has different value that they can provide clients, different assets that they have. So each agent that comes in, I want to try to figure out personalize the brokerage to them. What do you need? What do you want? What do you need help with? What do you find on your own with? And then give them what they need and give them a personalized brokerage experience. And if they want me to just go away and so they can sell bits, then I'll do that too. That's fine.
That's your favorite part,
That's my favorite one. I need those people. So
if you're out there,
yeah, I got a spot for you. So, but that's the idea: is provide a personalized. What do you need? What do you want? What are you good at? What are you not good at? What do you need to learn? And then provide that to you. As the agent.
Very cool. Very cool. What are some of your goals for Copper Creek in the next 1 to 5 years?
So kind of my goal, so we are, again, low cost, high value brokerage. I'm going to provide you what you want, when you want it, where you want it. But we are 100% commission split with a fee base. And so my goal, I think the old brokerage model, again, I think is slowly going away. We're already seeing it, people doing 100% splits, doing fee-based transactions, putting caps on everything. Every brokerage, if they want to grow, typically has to have a cap or there's going to be a lot of turnover. So my goal with the brokerage is not to make money off the agents. I want to make money off the transaction. And so the idea is I want to grow the brokerage. My first threshold in our first year, I'd like to be at 75 agents. We're at 25 now in the first, really in the first 30 days. So we got 11 more months to get 50 more willing and able agents. And then I want to start creating ancillary services around the transaction. Money that's already being spent, from transaction coordinators to moving companies to TRR to construction stuff. Anything where there's money being spent, I want to try to monetize the transaction instead of just trying to take money out of the agent's commissions.
Sure.
We're going to do that if you want that structure, but I want to try to make money off the transaction.
Well, and there is such a machine of the real estate transaction in and of itself that has these ancillary items that you had just mentioned. And I think a lot of people from a business standpoint might forget about that, right? Like, TCs versus, staging versus, I can go down a long list of what goes on through that process. And for people that have been doing this for years, it's all kind of, we kind of forget, right, that there are so many elements to this.
Well, think about how many people you have in your phone that you refer out to clients.
Right.
Each one of those is a service.
100%.
And you want to work with people who do a good job, but you can be strategic and monetize those services as well.
Sure.
And that's kind of the path that we're going to go down. So I have a coach that told me, and I'm going to mess up the statistic now. But I think NAR, National Association of Realtors, did a study a few years ago about the economic impact that a real estate transaction has on the economy. So for every house that sells, I think it's like $40,000 to $50,000 is pumped into the economy.
Wow.
And that is lenders, title companies, inspectors. You hire a painter,
movers,
pool company, movers, lawn guy. Everything a new homeowner buys and does, it adds up to a ton. And so again, rather than having to beat up my realtors to try to get a little bit more commission out of them or raise my cap or whatever, I want to try to provide a good service to your agents and to your clients and monetize those services.
Cool.
That's the goal going forward.
Okay, so if anybody is really worried about the economy, you can thank us because we are injecting the economy.
We are
pumping. Do you hear that? We are just crushing money into this economy. It's your money too, by the way.
Yeah.
And so thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
So what do you think about the current market right now? And I know that we get asked every day, hey, how's the market?
Yeah.
Hey, how are interest rates?
Yeah.
It's like, there is no one answer, in my opinion. I mean, you could Tony Robbins it, or you could tell somebody some Housing Wire stats or something like that, but it is such a sensitive issue when it comes to, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of data points that is the market. So I'm almost remiss to say, but what do you think about the Oklahoma City real estate market?
I think the market is tight right now for buyers. We've had an inventory issue since 2019, before COVID. It got terrible during 2020 and it never caught back up in Oklahoma City. And so Oklahoma City, I think, back in 2008 during the Great Recession, we were one of the most recession-proof cities in the country. We don't have a lot of the volatility that you get in other large markets. We don't have huge industry that takes hits. Oil is less than 15% of our economy now. So it's like, we just don't have a ton of fluctuation built into our. So people that are buying and selling in Oklahoma City need to buy and sell. At one point during the kind of the pandemic boom, I want to say it was like almost 25% of transactions were investors buying homes.
I represented a lot.
Yeah, a lot of them. People were coming in from all over the country to buy houses here because of how silly cheap our houses are.
Yeah.
They would laugh at the house.
California buyers are like, yo, I can get 5 houses in Oklahoma City for one in my backyard.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they?
And that's what they're at. Like, does this come with a roof? Like, yeah, it's a whole house, man. Like this whole house for your $200,000. So when you look at it, it's like, look around the country. Look at any other Kansas City or Dallas or any other regional city. We're so far below them.
Yeah.
If you're expecting prices to fall or dip, they're not gonna. I think we're adjusting with the rest of the market regionally. So when you look at the market, there's a ton of people sitting on the sideline waiting for rates to fall. When they do fall at all, there's going to be a massive rush to the market. Yeah. So inventory shortage is going to fall again. The millennial, the ticking time bomb that is millennials in the real estate industry, they're all having kids and getting married and trying to buy houses now because they didn't they're 10 years delayed on what everything did the generation before them. So there's just a lot of, and then the baby boomer generation who's got houses to sell. There's just a lot of things coming to a head in the next 10 years, I think. And each one is a black swan event that you can't predict what's going to happen, and they're all just kind of coming together. But I think to answer the question is, should I wait and buy a house next year because rates are going to be lower and prices are going to be lower? No, not going to happen. Not in Oklahoma City. Yeah.
And I have, if you guys are watching my channel, you know that I have a stance on this where, and let's face it, this isn't just my stance. I mean, I picked it up from somebody that I thought had a good point, right? Where the people who are waiting are going to have to deal with all of these buyers coming back into the market, which are going to drive prices up. You'll also be in multiple offers and have to spend 15, 20, 25K over list price to satisfy that offer. And you're going to miss out on the equity. And if you buy now, right, you've got higher interest rates, sure, but We can sit and do the math on what your monthly payment is today if you buy versus if you wait 2 years, or supposedly interest rates were going to drop in the fourth quarter of 24.
That's what I kept hearing.
Whether or not Jerome Powell at the Fed says, psych, or if he was like, okay, this is going to happen, it will create a market frenzy. And Oklahoma City is such a insulated market because of oil and gas, which I didn't know is 15%.
It's very, very low. It's below 20. I don't know. I think it's below 15.
Reasonable cost of living, the amount of investors that are here, all of these different factors in which it will be, it'll be just like 2020, where it was. I talked more people out of buying a house in 2020 than people actually closed on a house, just because it didn't make sense. Yeah. Sure, you could find this house that at a 2% rate, but you're gonna have. Don't get started.
You have to write stupid, crazy offers.
Right.
You have to bring extra cash, all that crazy stuff. That's like I'm gonna wait until things cool down. Well, here you are.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Right.
Buy it.
Yeah.
But people now there's another. Things never is. I tell realtors this all the time. Things never get back to normal.
There is no normal.
Every quarter is a new normal. The real estate market's changed every 4 to 6 months for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
We've not had a 12-month consistent market for the last 3 years or so.
Sure.
So,
and I feel like right now we're getting back to those pre-unicorn years of COVID, the preceding 2021
Slowly.
and 22, and so. But right, if you look at the numbers, we are anything but a normal market.
And that's what you hear. I think the dead horse on the internet is date the rate, marry the house, right?
Sure.
But maybe another way to phrase that is think about any period of time. You talk people out of it in 21, they would have killed to have bought that house in 21 because it appreciated 20% in the last 3 years.
Right.
So think of any period of time. In a year from now or 2 or 3 years from now, rates might be lower, but prices will be higher.
Sure.
They're not going to go down. They can't, they won't. We don't have, it's an inventory, a supply and demand thing. There's nothing more complicated than that. So prices will be higher in 12 months or 18 or 24 or 36. Rates might be lower, higher, or the same.
And on that note, wouldn't you rather have the equity, the appreciation, and know that you can refinance if the rates come back down?
Yep.
So
exactly.
it's
yeah. That's what I was talking to an agent yesterday. It's like I'm not talking people into buying, or talking them out of, but it's like don't let that put you on the sideline.
Right.
If you have a need to buy, having babies, kids graduating, moving work, whatever. If you have a need, just buy it. Yeah. It's not any worse of a time than it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever.
Right.
So just buy the house. Don't let a rate scare you out of doing what you need to do for your family.
Well, and I feel that there is an immense amount of scare tactics being used in the media. The rates are raising. There's an imminent housing crash and all this, doom and gloom, and sensationalism sells, and it is not I would just encourage people to read through the lines, right? Read between the lines, whatever the phrase is. All right, so what is your favorite thing about being a real estate broker?
So as a real estate broker, I kind of consider my agents my clients, not my clients my clients. And so they have clients, but the brokerage, my clients are the agents.
Yeah.
If I provide a good service to those clients, they will provide good service to the consumer.
Sure.
And so what I like about it the most is I can help, Jane and John buy a house, and that feels great. And I love helping people find houses. It's a fun process. But helping someone grow their business, I'm helping people get into big, debt. When it's a stressful process.
I got a lot of it.
Yeah, so when you're working with an agent, it's like, okay, I'm helping you build a business. I'm helping you make your life easier, I'm helping you do all these extra things that's moving you forward. And buying a house is great and all that stuff too, but if I can take someone who's new or part-time or hates their job or whatever and show them how to have success in this industry, they can do that over and over and over again, and it's much more rewarding, I think, when I can show someone how to go create a business for themselves or money for themselves.
For sure.
Then I love helping people find houses. I love shopping for houses.
Yeah.
But I think it's more rewarding helping an agent achieve what they're trying to achieve. It's just a different action. It's a different job.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite part about it, is just helping someone accomplish what they set out to accomplish.
Yeah, and I can testify to that, that endeavor in which you had helped me in personal transactions. You've helped me, all of my clients have Brett to thank for getting into that house, selling that house. he was always the man behind the curtain. So thank you a lot for that, Brett. So what's the most important thing that you look for in a real estate agent?
The number one thing I think is someone's two things. The number one thing is actually two things.
Yeah, 1-A, 1-B.
1A and 1B. Someone's ability to talk to strangers, because some people just don't have that in their DNA.
Yeah.
And your ability to deal with rejection. Those are the two things. The contract, sales, all the other junk can be trained. Mm-hmm. But if you cannot talk to a stranger, and if you cannot talk to a stranger, and if you cannot take rejection, you just will not have success.
Yeah.
Unless maybe you're from a rich family and they got a bunch of rich friends and they don't want to buy houses with you. Those people exist.
Oh yeah.
But as far as like getting into this and actually building a business from ground zero, those two things you have to have. Everything else, like if you're like, I'm not a good salesperson or I don't know anything about a contract, that's fine. Well, all those things are easy to learn.
Those are all teachable attributes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, being gregarious and being resilient I can agree with you. I mean, when I was team building, in the very beginning, I came from the service industry once upon a time, and I still think that bartenders, servers are the best realtors. And it's like a joke in the restaurant world. It's like, that's the progression, right? You're like busboy to back wait to waiter to head wait to assistant GM to GM to realtor, and I mean, I did it, and the hours are better. Sometimes you work 24/7, but it's just, you can talk to a ton of different people. You can handle pressure. You can smile when people are mad at you. I mean, it is very much a transferable skill. Yeah. So I agree.
That's what a lot of people think. Real estate agents, your job as a real estate agent, not to open houses, not to write contracts, not to negotiate. Your job is to prospect. Mm-hmm. And you're working for tips, essentially, right? If you're a bartender, waiter, whatever it is, you're having to communicate with people clearly, and you're having to get them to like you and trust you really quick, trust your advice, they're asking you questions, whatever, and then you're working for a tip. Real estate agents are the same thing. It's like, I gotta capture someone, make them like me and trust me really quickly, and then provide value to them throughout our experience. And so, if the better you are at prospecting, the better real estate agent you're gonna be.
Absolutely.
If you can memorize a contract and know the most about a contract, that's useless if you don't know how to go out and get a contract.
Right. And I mean, I tell people that I'm in marketing.
Yeah.
It's just like,
that's really what
I am in. I tell people I'm in marketing, however, I market real estate, because ultimately, if you are not, I mean, what we do every day is lead generation. At the end of the day, yes, you're servicing clients and doing all this other stuff, team building, running a brokerage, whatever, but without generating leads, like, our business is done.
Yep.
We'll give you some softballs. So what do you like most about Oklahoma City?
I grew up in Tulsa.
Really?
Grew up in Tulsa.
I didn't know that.
Went to college in Stillwater. Lived in Dallas for a year and a half or so. And
I didn't know any of those three things about you.
Yeah, very good. And then moved to Oklahoma City.
Terrible friend.
I chased my now wife up to Oklahoma City. She was in nursing school, and so I looked for every job I could find getting up here, and finally found one. And then by the time I got my real estate license in Oklahoma City, I'd lived here for 5 years. So I knew kind of my square mile of where I lived and the square mile of where I worked, and that was about it. I didn't get out in a couple of bars and restaurants that I frequented. But Oklahoma City it is, coming from Dallas, there was a trillion things to do every single night, any night of the week, all the time. And coming back up to Oklahoma City, I noticed how our highway system is much more adequate than Dallas. Dallas is like 10 years behind their infrastructure population-wise. So it's at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, you can look at the highway and it's bumper to bumper everywhere you go in Dallas. Here, you can get anywhere in Oklahoma City in 20 minutes, which is great. And now, over the last 5 years, Oklahoma City looks entirely different than it did when I moved here 10 years ago. Yeah. And so, downtown, at the time, Bricktown was like the new cool thing. Now, no one even goes to Bricktown anymore. There's new restaurants, there's new developments, there's all kinds of stuff going on everywhere. So, Oklahoma City has just exploded. Really, since Thunder came, I feel like it started exploding.
And I missed the Renaissance. I moved away in 2006. And so I remember, we used to skateboard down here and like buy weed and do all the shit that kids would do.
All the shenanigans.
And now you go to a dispensary, right? And then you've got these like multi-million-dollar like, you know, sky rises and shit like that just didn't exist in 2006. And yes, the Thunder, Devon, Chesapeake, you know, they were all very instrumental in moving Oklahoma City away from being a flyover state, where it's like, oh wow, now we have an NBA team and we have these people who want nightlife, so let's build up the Deep Deuce or whatever it is. So what is your overall vision for Copper Creek in the future?
So I think there is commission compression. Brokerages aren't getting paid what they used to get paid. Agents are slowly kind of feeling that a little bit. I want to create a brokerage where, again, my number one goal with the brokerage is to get to a certain size and start creating ancillary services around it. As a broker, I don't have a ton of, the agent's the one with all the influence with the client, right, with the consumer. I don't. I have influence over the agent, but I want to start bringing in top producers and team leaders and kind of helping them build those ancillary services around them as well. One thing I learned when I got in the real estate industry was it's great, it's fun, it's exciting, it's high pace, you can make a bunch of money real fast, but it is not sustainable at a high level unless you build certain systems around yourself.
Right.
You're just going and going and going and going until you start to build a team. Then you're building this liability underneath yourself, and then you really got to get going and going and going. And so when you can start to create businesses around yourself and other services around yourself, you can start to insulate your income a little bit. And so I want to start helping other top producers and other teams to start building those services around themselves too. So I don't ever want to chase an opportunity for myself that I can't also provide to the people working with me.
Sure.
And so that's the opportunity I'm chasing, is these ancillary services to help grow and multiply income. And I want to show people who have the ability to do that. You know, if you're a team doing 10 deals a month or 20 deals a month or whatever it might be, if you're a big team, you should have the opportunity to build those ancillary services around yourself as well, because you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And so that's kind of what I want to do, is I want to build these for myself first, and then I want to build it big enough and dream big enough that I can bring others along with it. If you're selling 20, 30, 40, 50 houses a year, you should be making some money off some ancillary services as well, because you're diverting a lot of money to a lot of vendors. And so the vision with it is get it to a certain point where I can start building these for agents and for myself, and then bring in top producers and agents along for the ride as well, and giving them other incomes and other opportunities in the industry outside of just going and meeting another client. Because that eventually you lose the appetite for doing that eventually.
Sure.
And so that's the opportunity I want to try to create for myself and create for agents that join.
Very cool, man. Very cool. All right, so thank you so very much. I really appreciate you guys watching till the very end. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. I would love it if you share this video to somebody who you may think that would like it. If you have questions about real estate, both of our contact information and all of our handles are going to be dropped in the comments below, and we will see you guys on the next one. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.